If you've been keeping an eye on the world of AI, you've probably heard about two of the biggest players, proprietary AI models and open source AI model. But what are the real differences? How do they compare in performance, cost, flexibility, and privacy? And which one is the best fit for your project? Well, today, we're diving deep into the world of AI models to break it all down for you. Stick around, because you're going to want to hear this. We'll talk about the pros and cons of each, and provide you with all the details you need to make the right choice. So let's get started. Before we dive into the specifics of proprietary, open source models, let's quickly go over what an AI language model actually is. Simply put, an AI language model is a machine learning model trained to understand and generate human-like text based on large data sets. These models are incredibly versatile. They can write stories, answer questions, translate languages, summarize content, and even code. To train these models, data from books, websites, and other written content is fed into the model, helping it to learn grammar, context, and meaning. As the models grow larger and more complex, they become even better at mimicking human-like interactions. Let's start with proprietary AI models. These are developed by companies like OpenAI, Google, and Microsoft. The most popular proprietary models include GPT-3, GPT-4, PLM, and Claude. These companies invest millions of dollars into developing these models, and as a result, they offer some of the most powerful, cutting-edge AI technology available today. But there's a catch. They're closed source. That means only the companies behind these models have access to the code, the model architecture, and the underlying data used to train them. You, as the user, access the models through an API and pay based on usage. Proprietary models like GPT-3 and GPT-4 are extremely powerful because they're trained on billions, even trillions of parameters. For example, GPT-3 has 175 billion parameters, while GPT-4 is even more advanced with hundreds of billions, making them some of the largest and most sophisticated AI models available. Because these models are built on such large datasets, they perform exceptionally well in a variety of natural language processing tasks, whether it's generating text, answering questions, translating languages, or summarizing articles. But these models come with a cost, both financially and in terms of usage. Alright, so what are the pros of proprietary models? First up, performance. These models deliver state-of-the-art results. For instance, GPT-4 can understand subtle nuances and even generate long-form content with impressive accuracy. They're easy to use. You don't need any machine learning expertise to get started. You simply integrate them through an API. You get reliable support. If something goes wrong, you have dedicated customer support to help you out. And there are continuous updates and improvements, as the companies behind these models constantly refine them. But, as with anything, there are some downsides. They're expensive. You pay per usage, and if you're processing a lot of data, those fees can add up fast. They offer limited customization. You can fine-tune some models like GPT-3, but it's not as flexible as open source models. There are some privacy concerns as well. Since all data is processed through external servers, your data might be stored, analyzed, or even used to improve the model. Before we dive into open source AI models, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications. This way, you won't miss any of our future deep dives into the latest tech trends and AI advancements. We've got a lot more exciting content coming your way. Now let's shift gears and talk about open source AI models. Open source models are developed by research groups, nonprofits, or independent developers, and their code is made publicly available. Some of the most popular open source models include GPT-Neo, GPT-J, and Meta's Llama. Unlike proprietary models, open source models give you full access to the code, which means you can modify, retrain, or deploy them on your own infrastructure. Now you might be wondering, how do these open source models stack up against the big guys like GPT-3 or GPT-4? Well, let's talk numbers. GPT-Neo and GPT-A are open source models that have around 2.7 billion and 6 billion parameters, respectively. While they're not quite as large as GPT-3's 175 billion parameters, they still deliver impressive performance for most tasks. Llama, another popular open source model by Meta, is built to be more efficient, focusing on training at scale with less computational power. While open source models might not have the raw performance power of proprietary models, they're still incredibly effective and can be tailored to specific use cases. So, what makes open source models so appealing?
They're free, you can download and use them without paying for access. Customizability is key here. You can retrain the models on your own data, fine-tune them, or even build entirely new models based on the open code. Privacy is in your hands. You don't have to worry about sending sensitive data to external servers. But, of course, there are a few trade-offs. They require significant computational resources. Running large models like GPT-Neo and Llama on your own hardware can be resource-intensive. They're not as refined as proprietary models, so you might spend more time fine-tuning to get the desired result. There's no dedicated support. If you run into issues, you'll rely on community forums and documentation rather than having a customer service team available. Alright, to make sure everything's crystal clear, let's quickly recap the key differences between proprietary and open source models. Proprietary models are great for businesses, large-scale applications, and when you need high performance, easy setup, and dedicated support. But they come with costs, usage limits, and concerns about data privacy. Open source models are perfect for developers, researchers, or hobbyists who want full control over their models and don't mind handling the technical side. They're free and customizable, but can be computationally expensive and require a bit more work to get up and running. Now, as we look to the future, the landscape of AI models is evolving rapidly. Proprietary models are becoming more accessible, with companies like OpenAI and Google continually expanding their APIs to include more specialized features. On the flip side, the open source community is also growing stronger. More and more developers are creating powerful models that rival proprietary ones. As these models continue to improve and become more efficient, we can expect to see new use cases emerging, like AI-driven creativity in art and music, hyper-personalized healthcare, and even autonomous systems. The future of AI is incredibly exciting, and whether you choose a proprietary or open source model, we're only scratching the surface of what's possible. So, which one should you choose? Well, it all depends on your need. If you want a model that's easy to integrate, cutting edge, and you don't mind paying for it, then go with a proprietary model like GPT-4 or PLM. But if you're looking to experiment, modify, or deploy something on your own terms with full control, then open source models like GPT-Neo or Llama are your best bet. That's a wrap on today's deep dive into proprietary versus open source AI models. I hope this gives you a clearer picture of which path is right for you. Be sure to hit like, subscribe, and leave a comment with your thoughts. What's your experience with AI models? Are you team proprietary or team open source? I'd love to hear about your projects.